My greetings to Hakainde Hichilema and the AF Kasonde. Also, I want to extend it to Christina Kaseba Sata. May God be with you. Let me greet the whole entire Africa. Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso. This is a sorry. This is a continuation of the letter that I wrote to President Hakainde Hichilema, pleading to him to listen to God's call. I said that if you are not able to believe the prophets, to protect the ministry of God, to save Zambia and your life, kindly step down, and the restoration of PF Sata police will be the answer for Zambia and the Africa and South Africa must embrace EFF to restore its economical strength. If you are available to take the PF Sata restoration order, call me for guidance. So this is the last paragraph which I just read. If you are following the third part of this letter. So I'm starting the fourth part of the letter. I want to say I gave the 3 letters of warning to President Mwanawasa. In this thing, I want to repeat myself to say, when God speaks, he speaks amicably. In my last reading, I referred to say, if there's any agreement that you have agreed between you and the late family of Lungu, former president, without you calling me for a further clarity, it won't help you anything. After this message, I also have heard rumors of that you have made a fresh court application that if the funeral will be buried in South Africa, then you also need to be there. I think that one is a joke. Because if the funeral is actually refused to come to Zambia because they don't want you near the coffin, then if you apply to say, I want to attend the South Africa burial, then it's a joke. Let me not comment anything until I gather enough information. But what I want to say currently is to read this paragraph on page 11, where this is paragraph what? I can say it's paragraph 4, where I said the 3 letters of 17 pages warned and reviewed his fate in Egypt when he was only 3 months in office, and the letters are written with you too, even in the 3 rescue operation books, to prove that God's warning cannot be edited or uttered to prove a point on what happened to the first president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, second president, Dr. FTJ Chiluba, the third president, Levi Mwanawasa, the fourth president, Rupia Banda, the fifth president, Michael Sata, died in rejection of God's ministry. Only Dr. Kenneth Kaunda saved his life on the first instance by stepping down from in heeding God's vision, and went early because he was deceived by SDA pastors that I was a false prophet. After his money, President Kaunda was not supposed to have died soon. He asked God's protection in Gospel Revelation Ministry. I gave the 3 letters of warning to President Mwanawasa that were neglected by you, and all leaders coped to Mrs. Maureen Mwanawasa, dated 10th March 2002, 12th March 2006, and 20, this one was supposed to be 12th March 2007, and 28 September 2008 at Kwazi House, State House, after his burial. Please ask her for them, and I doubt if she can lose them. Kindly do that. I know you are together in government and she's there for a special purpose in times like this. By then, when I was writing this, Maureen Mwanawasa had not yet died. She had not yet died. President Lungu, physically and politically wounded. This is my last paragraph on this page 11. Yes, the 6th President Edgar Changwa ascended to power in fulfillment of the vision, and who is physically and politically wounded, as warned in a vision of receiving a cigarette from President Sata, and he too developed the same wounds. In the letter addressed to Mrs. Sata, Dr. Christian Kaseba, dated March 2012, I believe she is serving as an ambassador in your government. You can also ask her of my many other letters that led her to call me and ask me why I called her a widow before the death of her husband, who was wounded on 19th to 20 January 2012 in a fulfillment of the vision that was written to him in 2008, 15th September. So this is the reason why when you heard me today referring to the greetings to Mrs. Sata in my earlier video before this one, actually, I recall that she must be one of those living after the death of Maureen Mwanawasa who can testify on my letters that I wrote to her, and more special on this case where I actually called her a widow before the death of her husband, based on the visions that I received. This shall prove to you, Hakainde Hichilema, that the word that I speak, it does not fall on the ground, because I'm a messenger. I'm not the owner of these words. God is the owner of these words. And why is God sending me to you? He wants Zambia to go back on its road map of independence, where a kwacha will be equal with US dollar. A kwacha will be equal with the pound. A kwacha will be equal with any other currencies in other continents. And Africa must be united. So I call President Edgar Lungu a half hero because he built a cathedral and declared 18 October National Prayer Day, but never availed himself to the protection of God's ministry. God's grace and love is what has saved him to this day, pending EU corruption allegation, political mass distraction weapon on African leaders that love to save their countries. I invite Lungu to seek restoration and healing if he is available to protect God's healing. So I said this prophecy regarding the grace period which extended President Edgar Lungu, which I actually said pending alleged political mass distraction. So the distraction weapon that on African leaders that I referred in here, these are the allegations that have separated you from Lungu's family by arresting the wife, claiming that she has stolen money, the building that she has built is stolen money. The daughters, they are also involved in those allegations. And this is a weapon of mass destruction on African leaders. And I've learned also with sadness, just to refer that one of the ANC chairperson, is it Matashe, was arrested in Britain on allegation of corruption. I want to believe that it is the same mass destruction machinery. How can a citizen of South Africa be arrested in Europe on allegations that are not filed here in South Africa against him? Who took the case? Who gave them the power to arrest the leaders in Africa for allegations that are not filed before the court here? So you find that it only shows to us to say Africa is not considered as a nation. Is actually considered as a kitchen where they cook their food, which is raw material in terms of gold, copper, emerald, and everything that they want. So now, this is exactly that is happening in Zambia, where this destruction is happening against everyone who refused to work with IMF and America in obtaining loans under the PF government. I want to say that when I look at this, I also said I invite Lungu to seek restoration and healing. He did not avail himself. I will always repeat, because there's always a new person that may be following my videos. When I say protecting God's ministry, is one accepting the warning. If a president accepts the warning and does God's will, then the ministry of God is protected. Because by getting rid of this mass destruction that arrests those that say the truth and defend the truth and classify the speakers of truth through vision and dreams, that they are suffering from schizophrenia, is something that is aiming to destroy God's people and the true worship. I want to continue to say God's master plan to be reviewed for economical restoration. When I said that you can call me so that I can give you the formula to have a peaceful resolution between Edgar Lungu's family and yourself, it's not everything that I can write and speak that can be revealed to you. You need to ask me, then I give you the insight of every vision to the saving of the nation and to save life. I said, if you are available to meet your God today, call me without delay. God will review a master plan to save Zambia from global pigpen predicament to you, as Daniel did to King Nebuchadnezzar. Yes, he will do it again. Jesus, Zambia, they don't know why you have failed to fulfill your promises. But I know that you are under gunpoint to declare Zambia homosexual free flying zone in order to receive free grants for Sodom and Gomorrah against God's law. I don't hate homosexuals because they are among our 12 children, one chooses to be homosexual because South Africa is a free flying zone. Yes, I live with him, I love him, but he knows that I don't approve it as a right. It's not shocking for me to review to you to say, among the 12 children, I'm not an exception, because these rights that are supported because of donor aid they are being taught in our schools, and the teachers are enforcing them to our children because they want to be paid extra money on top of their teaching. They confuse our children, and we cannot allow it to go on like that. We need a government like Trump. He has demonstrated to say in his government there will be no homosexuality because everyone was born a man and he must remain a man. Everyone who was born a woman must remain a woman. Period. My president, ask those who advocate for rights to homosexuality to first advocate a right to steal. All people who are in support, all organizations that are supporting homosexuality, they don't support people to steal. Because stealing is also a law. And people, they are craving to steal. Others, they even boast that stealing is the only way they can live. Why can't you have put it among the rights to say we give you rights to steal so that people, they can come and steal even in State House? People are digging gold in Ufumbwe. You are killing them. Are they stealing from your home? They are digging in natural resources that have been availed to them by God, but they have been killed and treated like people who have stolen. Was that mine discovered by the government or themselves? They discovered it to themselves. Thieves and robbers in prison in numbers. They are in numbers, but no homosexual. No homosexual is in prison, but why advocating for sin of Sodom and Gomorrah when women are there to marry and to be married? The 3 letters to President Manawasa are not different from the introduction letter to the 12 volumes open letter to you. Yes, the letters were meant to save you. I'm sorry that he died. They are meant to save him. I'm referring to Levi Manawasa. I'm sorry that he died. And when the wife asked me why I did not pray for him not to die, because I saw it or gave him personally the letters. She said further, if he received the letters to listen to God's warning and he was not going to die. The last time I asked you to call me was in 2018, well in exile. Thank God you did, but never agreed with me as I talked about SDA Church and the Christian Nation Declaration as against God. And God, and maybe that is the reason why you are angry. You stopped taking my course. Hakainde Hichilema, remember when you called me in 2018 and the 2008, it's a 10 years in between there. God was still waiting for you. Now, I've asked you to say, all these things that are happening, homosexuality and so forth, which is being actually practiced in Zambia openly, because Emmanuel Mwamba spoke up against it and actually cautioned the ambassadors who promoted it in their embassies by putting in lesbian flags with a blue colors. I'm saying today, as I want to quickly summarize on this letter, I think the summary will come again on the 5th part. This headline I said is speak through the Facebook to you. I'll speak through the Facebook. I say I have decided to speak through the Facebook to you and inboxing you and send WhatsApp messages to your wife, your servant, Mrs. Mwanza, and security, Mr. Mwale, who ended up blocking me. blocking me just to warn you of God's love towards you and his readiness to reveal his will for Africa and the world through visions and dreams. That I know you are not ignorant of what is happening, as I don't receive any response from the four of you. Is commonly